What's up, guys? Welcome. It is time for us to head into the finals right here for the UK and Ireland League. My name is DK, and of course, I'm joined by Neptura. Nip, how you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, DK. Super excited to get into the action here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a super hot and spicy day looking at, the lineup of teams that we've got coming through. And of course, we know there's going to be some 2 days of pretty crazy action coming through as the teams are going to be stepping up. And now that I've said coming through enough times, I think it is time for us, rather, if I can English properly, to take a look at our participating teams to know who we're going to have stepping out onto the battlefield.
Yes, indeed. And just looking at this lineup, I'm getting really excited. I mean, many of these teams are going to be pretty familiar to a lot of people, and some not so much, especially for myself. So I'm really excited to see what these teams bring to the table. I'm excited to have a first look at what they have, what they got going for them, especially up against some of the more well-known teams. So it's looking like it's going to be a real doozy of an evening, DK.
Oh, yes, it's going to be quite a bit of a doozy. As we can see, the left half of the screen are our invited teams. The other half are teams that have grinded their butts off over the past few weeks to get themselves into these slots. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what our teams are going to be bringing through. Of course, we've got REXPECT out on the battlefield. We've got the players there from Unicorns of Love. I know it says that we've got Galatasaray in the mix as well, but they've in fact been replaced by another team. It's going to be...
I see.
Excuse me, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Excuse Me is the team that has replaced them. So it's going to be a very exciting one as all our teams get ready to pop out and head on through. But of course, as we know, right, there's only one way that the teams are going to be able to get themselves to the top of that leaderboard, and that is by utilizing our lovely point system.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, it is the new point system. So of course, we're going to be seeing hopefully a lot more action in those first few moments of the game, as well as it's not going to be quite the long drawn out business it used to be, but it really puts a lot of pressure on these teams to really get those points nice and early, because you go out, even ninth place, I mean, not even a top 10 finish is going to do you any when it comes to placement points. So you've really got to make sure you get those kills, get those eliminations, and really start strategizing towards the start of the game. So as we see these points start to creep up and more points go to more teams, not only is it possible that we're going to have a very finals, but we're going to see a lot of exciting games at the same time. So super stoked.
Yep, speaking about the games, of course, we are going to be playing across 4 maps today. So we're going to be starting on Erangel before heading into a little bit of that Sanhok Miramar action. And then we close it up with our final Erangel of the day. As we know, we move into day number 2, where it will be a repeat with regards to these map rotations. But of course, there's going to be ample opportunities for these teams to get themselves all ready and sorted. And speaking about getting sorted, of course, we'll be making our way towards that map very soon. But in the meanwhile, Neb, this is where I want to ask you a few questions, right? Are you ready? Are you ready for the questions?
I am.
Okay, no, those were the questions. So with all the questions now out of the way, we can of course see that the teams are getting ready. We have a little bit of a swim happening there as well. You got to limber up.
Yep.
Right. Nothing better than a bit of a swim before getting out onto the field, going to go play a little bit of that PUBG mobile action. But yes, first game up is going to be Erangel, and as you've said before, right, there are a few teams here that we know. We've seen them play before. But of course, then there are also these unknown teams, right? Teams that we've not necessarily seen play against these teams. And I'm curious to see how that is going to really work out for them, right? Will we see them step up and bring in quite a bit of a surprising performance?
I hope so. That would be fantastic to see, because that would mean that we have some up and coming new blood, new teams coming in onto the EU scene specifically, that we can be really excited about going into the next couple of seasons. So I'm really excited to see which teams will stand out in a lobby that has some of these already professional teams with us. So I'm really stoked to see what they've got coming in as we go into this Erangel, though, DK. It's not going to be super testing right off the front. We've got a very easy playing path coming through here, and all these teams get to go wherever they like.
Yeah, I think this is definitely kind of a flight path that you'd be looking for, especially going up against a few strong names, as we know, right? Going up against like a team like REXPECT or Excuse Me, Unicorns of Love, Game Lord, you know, KASIK team, the 4 Romanian men, these are some pretty tough
Mm-hmm.
names. We've seen what they've done in the
Yes.
PNPLs, and now we get the opportunity to have them stretch their legs a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just show us what they can do when they step into the UK Ireland League as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll be curious to see DK actually if there's going to be any hot drops right off the because this is now the time to do that, right? You know, maybe not the first game. Some of these teams might kind of be a little bit feeling the pressure a little bit. They might want to try and just stay on course, go on their own respective places. But honestly, the start of the finals is where you want to get all that action in and just, you know, risk it a little bit, get those few kills, try and make a bit of an impression, try to be a little bit more dominant, and then you can pull back once you're not getting the results that you really want. But I will see that coming into this first game, it looks like we might have a little bit of that, particularly in Pachinki, not so much up by Severny up there. They're a little bit more spaced apart, but certainly in crates as well, we're seeing some of that action.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential insanity to unfold on the battlefield. We do see right up in towards Pachinki. Already the shots are getting laid in, as we do have the squad here from Zero Remorse finding a little bit of that spray. And I mean, this is coming at the expense of the KASIK team, so I love what we're seeing so far. But is this going to be enough for Zero Remorse now to really claim Pachinki for themselves?
I mean, it could be. It could be. They've got them down to 2 so far. I like it's an interesting spot really because nope, going down, going straight down. So that is going to be KASIK, Team KASIK trying to make a little bit of a comeback here. It's an odd thing to have happen, honestly, because KASIK, they are very split, but they're also in a position to sandwich this team, right? So Zero Remorse have got to be very careful here indeed. So we'll just have to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, of course, I see a bit of love coming through in the chat there as well. A shout out coming in for the Exit team. We've got Mumbles in the chat as well. So excited to have everybody here. I mean, if you're here supporting a team, give him a shout out in the chat, right? This is not an official stream, so we can talk to the chat. We can interact with a 5-minute delay. And speaking about delays, I mean, Unicorn is not going to delay it as they just step on up. And look at that, though. Arrow on point.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. That's some great back in here because, man, Team KASIK, they're not a team to really mess about with Unicorn. He's been able to do some really good backup coming, you know, from here. Like how they're playing this. I mean, what it is to go out Zero Remorse. GG's, man.
I mean, it's hot.
Very nicely done.
It's spicy, and that's kind of what we were expecting to see, right? I mean, and it's really starting to heat up. But as we know, we still got quite a few more teams all dispersed throughout this map, and the zone is sitting all the way up north. So I think it's going to be quite a bit of a journey, especially for our more southern teams, right, to really get themselves through. I mean, the young roster, we can see occupying that military base. They've got quite a bit of rotation to make to get themselves secured into the next phase. But if you can see right here up into South George, I mean, this is where things also look pretty exciting because we've got No Mercy Warriors getting ready to exchange, get into a bit of an altercation, rather, with the side of Excuse Me.
Yeah, again, we're seeing this kind of, this kind of pro team versus finalists coming in here. Oh, and it's the camp on the stairs, nicely done, but that cover is there. So in these close things, you always have to be super aware of the angles and that cover. Try and cover your teammates as much as possible, but all the action is coming through here. Is this going to be a res? I think this might be a little bit of a reset if they can help it. I'm not entirely sure, though. What are your thoughts, DK?
Oh, I mean, they could pull it off, right? They could pull it off, but it's going to take pinpoint accuracy. I mean, the numbers looking pretty even. We've got 2 knocks on either side, so it's all going to come down to timing and that precision coming through with the next few sprays.
It is indeed. That's a nice Molotov again with that cover. They're not messing around. Team 10 got it locked and loaded. They know what they're doing. So, GG's No Mercy Warriors. They're giving, excuse me, a little bit of a run for their money at this point. I mean, we're just like kind of stacked on top of each other even. There's no real angles long range being actually held on here. No cover in opposite buildings. They're all just kind of huddled around this one house, and that's really interesting. They've allowed No Mercy Warriors rather to get that full res up. I mean, one does go down, but excuse me, very, very slow on that push.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting exchange coming through from both teams here. I mean, we know, excuse me, definitely not a team to, discount at any point in time, but I love what No Mercy Warriors are doing here, really trying to keep them at bay, but once Furia starts rushing up like that, it's going to be absolute carnage just following in their trail. And now, if we look at No Mercy, they're down to a 2-piece, so they a 3-piece rather, so there's still quite a bit of work to be done. They're not out of the woods just yet.
Yep. No, and I'm not sure what really Excuse Me are looking to accomplish with this. They did try and get rid of the cover, right? They got rid of that angle that was giving them a lot of headaches, and they managed to do it. That's fine. They got that elimination done and dusted. But after this, I don't know what they're trying to do here. It doesn't feel like a real push almost. They kind of just grabbed this angle, but they've all gone in as a full squad. One's on the roof. That could be quite a clever play coming in from Furia there, but overall it feels a little quiet to me, and New Mercy Warriors are able to take advantage of that, but perhaps not for long. Now we're seeing Excuse Me make these pushes, but not where the angles, but it doesn't matter. Excuse Me gonna be winning that one at the end of the day. I just think they could have won that one so much faster, but GG's to No Mercy Warrior for dragging it on as long as it went on. They made some good plays there.
I mean, that was definitely a very good play, but you got to give it up to No Mercy. They held their own. And this was quite a lengthy altercation with the side of Excuse Me. So I think they did quite well. But as we know, they still have 3 more maps aside from this one to prove themselves. So I'm really looking forward to that. But now, speaking about things to look forward to, we know that zone is starting to close up. We do see a lot of teams already starting that mass migration heading up north. But yeah, still we don't see any major altercations coming through.
No, not yet. We just saw those 2 initial ones. There does seem to be a little bit of a hot drop going on in Yasnaya, but because of the size of the city, you're not going to see too much action coming in there. Very, very easy for teams to just take their own sides of the city and have done with it. But we're seeing some slow rotations coming through here, Excuse Me, because they just got finished with their fight. And also, with that fight, you didn't really see all that much good loot in there. It was a lot of rifles. It was a lot of things that you don't generally see with a fully looted up team. So I think they might stay there to loot up a little bit more, but more notably, Young Roster, they're still down in Millie base. They took forever, and they're just coming up now with the blue zone. So good news is they shouldn't have that much pressure to not get in the zone. It should be okay. But as we move on, there's pressure abounding in this little compound, a great compound to have. But oh my goodness, it's chaos everywhere.
Yeah, that was easy for sure. Now, losing one of their players, they still have 2 more to go. It's going to be Boku and Galesha now trying to put a little bit of distance in between themselves. And quite a bit of an aggressive rush that they had coming through hot on their heels. But look at that. Also a few hits are coming through in that feed as Beast runs over what is left of the players there for easy for sure. I mean, it's a tough run. 1 more left. That's it. A solo having to carry the team's name as far as they possibly can.
Yeah, and that's a lot of pressure this early on. I mean, I've seen it multiple times where solos go ahead and win the whole thing, but it's never a position that you really want to be in. Being a solo, especially in a lobby like this, they're going to be very animated, very hungry for all kinds of carnage. It's going to be very difficult for him to move on forward, but it can be done. We have seen it happen before, and we'll just have to see how he progresses through the rest of the game. Just a shame that he's had to get to this position at such an early stage. I mean, phase 2 has only just come in. Now, it has centered up, which is quite nice. DRM over in Stalber, they're kicking themselves right now. They had a great spot. Daruma, no longer. They're going to have to push on in as well. But tell you what, UOL got a pretty good spot in this zone.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I mean, I'm curious to see whether or not they will be capable of rather utilizing that space, because, you know, there's a nice little compound there, right? Swave already positioned pretty close to that. So I want to see if there's going to be any major attention or focus being brought through onto that point. But as we also then look onto the eastern side of the zone, that's where we have a little bit of congestion coming through. And I'm excited as to ULC's positioning there, because they've got a little bit of company to try and deal with. So I don't know quite how that one's going to go.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot, actually, because you generally don't see teams at all on that eastern side, and here's that action that you were just mentioning on the side of ULC. Unfortunately, ULC aren't doing the action. The action is coming to them. Unfortunately, gets one, but he's really, really low health, and here comes the backup. There's nothing he can do. Gets taken down and out very quickly there. Some really nice teamwork coming in from Big Baby, but yeah, it's just Marden. I was about to say Marion. I think that's Marden, in fact. Oh, but the third party DK, ST, coming on in with a bang.
Yeah, there we go. Batman getting taken on down. It's now up to the rest of the team. Oh, but Strangers BD now getting a little bit of that revenge being brought over on towards them. But again, if we look across the table, I mean, Big Baby, they're holding up. Chaos now looking to stay true to their name. They do get enveloped in a little bit of that. But it's now over towards the overlaid to see if they can maybe raise the team up in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle of time, as you said, and I think, honestly, I think Strangers BD has won that game. When it's immediately with the nades, that's really nice to see. They've got that preliminary fighting tactic coming through here. They're not allowing them to have a split second of peace. They get the res, they start with those nades just to hold them off a little while longer. Then they can get those smokes and get those reses. So very nicely played, honestly, from Strangers BD, but I gotta say, Big Baby, they're doing some really, really good work as well. Managed to keep all four up. Chaos is still down, but I think he's getting rezzed at the moment. We're gonna see Overlay make that push, get in close. Let's see where it goes.
Well, let's see. Maybe it's, you know, it could be... well, I don't know. I was trying to make a good one out of that, and then I completely fell flat on my face for whatever it is what it is. Of course, now overlaid. Ooh. Oh, look at that, though. I mean, who needs weapons? Just use the buggy.
Well, exactly. It's the best weapon. We've seen that so much lately. It's really nice to see these guys using it as well. But oh no, now it's just down to a solo revenge. The zone's coming in. Big Baby got some pushes to make very, very quickly. They can't be slow with this one. See? Oh, doesn't hit the shots though. Gets one.
I mean, that was...
Oh my god, is he gonna do this?
Come on, get it. The smoke doing its thing.
Oh my god.
Come on, revenge is so close.
What?
Just, yeah. Oh!
No! With the M24!
What? Wow.
Oh, but they got to the zone!
Oh my word.
DK! Oh no!
What was that, Nip? What did we just witness? I mean, it's like, come on.
Wow. I tell you what, though, there was just enough time between the M24 shot and them going out. There was just enough time to cut it before the death to get that Instagram reel going. So, GG's, Big Baby. Again, a really interesting play coming through there. Would like to see a little bit more, you know, quicker timing coming through there, but some really nice from both sides. But shut up about that, because now it's Game Lord and Team 11 Exit Team battling for a very, potentially very strong position in this zone.
Yeah, I mean...
Who panned?
Yeah,
oof.
Team Exit now needs a very quick exit because, you know, they've now been reduced to 2. And Game Lord, I mean, as we know, right, it's Game Lord. Need we say more? The reputation just kind of comes with the territory as well. So I'm excited to see whether or not Game Lord are going to let the players there from the Exit team hold the angles here just for a little while longer. Speaking about angles, though, we also did have that zone move up, so it has now beautifully centered up, but this is where we are having a lot of that congestion now come through as the teams are scrambling for space in zone.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get very interesting. Particularly, I think it's going to get very sweaty for UOL in second over on that western side. We see 3 teams all trying to come in there, and funnily enough, no one in Roshawk, so I think that may change fairly quickly. Just have to see. Easy for sure. That solo still up out of zone, and here comes UOL with that push, and REXPECT are waiting for him.
Yeah, and they're just going to lay it on thick with the spray downs. You can see the shots not just getting hammered on in, but instead it is going to be the players here from REXPECT now. They have their hands quite full, of course, excuse me, also looking to step up into the mix, and this is just going to be a very tight position now to play in. But look at that, Unicorns of Love actually already having quite a bit of a reduction in their playable, well, in their players there. I don't know where it was going, that one. It's going to be a two-piece, but the vehicle comes in. What?
Oh, what?
Piece bounce over it.
That should have gotten him for sure. Excuse me, they're just going to be swearing up a storm in their comms. Man, that is really frustrating. Oh, but finally he does go down, this time to a nade though. Beast only has 2 lives apparently. He's not going to have those 9. The car used up one of them, and unfortunately for UL, they're going to go down. Just a bit of a sticky situation for them. REXPECT and excuse me just caught in between like that. That's never a good place to be in, unfortunately. And yeah, UL, that's going to be the end of them. But at the end of this fight, though, DK, we still got excuse me, of course, and REXPECT. Never mind, as I said, that REXPECT went out. So is excuse me 11 eliminations, DK.
Wow, they are running absolutely rampant here with those elims. But excuse me, they don't need any introduction. Also, just bringing in such a formidable performance so far. And of course, as we know, they have that positioning over on towards the western side of zone, and there's no one else really on this edge. So this will allow them a little bit of an opportunity here to reassess themselves, reassess the situation, and replan on a strong approach moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, from this position, they can really just spread out. That's one of my very favorite spots. Ever since I think it was EU Championships, I saw a game end up on that northern Rozhok bank, just on that bend there by the bridge, and it was so good. I really loved watching it since then. It's been one of my very favorite areas to watch play. And Majesty's gonna laugh at me at that because I said a lot in the tournament we did together, but it is true. It's such a great spot, and if excuse me can spread out over the tip of that coastline, they could have a good game going forward, especially where the zone's up now. It's gone straight to where I was talking about, so if they can get there first, they have an excellent chance of winning this.
Yeah, now it's all down to, again, all down to timing, playing the opposition, playing a good position, a good angle rather here, but utilizing all the skills that they've got in their bag, right? This is what we want to see. We want to see teams really just, you know, playing a phenomenal set of games. And so far, we've been blessed with quite a bit of that. I mean, we've seen some good rotations, some good rushes coming through, but it's not over just yet. There's still 10 teams having to duke it out. 28 players remain. And of course, excuse me, being one of those teams still sitting on a full squad.
Yeah, they are, and as you said, it's actually fairly uneven here. I think we've only got maybe 3, maybe 4 teams out of the 10 that actually have that advantage. Excuse me, looking to keep that number going, and unfortunately, yeah, they're Zero Remorse not going to be having such a great time. One's down, or one's gone, and one's running away as he should, honestly, because you don't want to mess with them just yet. Now is the time to get that spot in zone. So Furia going to be quite happy with his spot. Olwen ULC looking in that kill feed to get naded on. Have to see how that goes. And 4 AM, or 4 RM rather. I'm not sure where they've gotten knocked from, but that is in fact the case. As we move over to ULC getting taken out. Ouchie, wow, a Batman. Not a great day for them so far, but they made it to the top 10 at least. Hopefully they got a few elimination points to make that worth their while. But GLD got a nice spot now, and they're looking to make that third push onto exit team. This could be very nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is an opportune angle now for Game Lord to come in. Akashi going to be cooking up that nade. Is going to be sending out, and Victor instead finds the first initial knock. And now's the opportunity to get that rush going, and that is exactly what I think Game Lord are going to be doing. Oh, the opportunity is there. That health bar is super low, and it's now down to Robs and Go to see if they can find these last few hits just to nail the coffin shot. DBS, S12 K-Roller coming through for the clutch.
Yes, you don't anything less from GLD, man. Let's face it, they're a PMGC team. They know exactly what they're doing. On that push, want that knock. Those vehicles that were very nicely done. So GG's that. Also, GG team, you know, they made a great stand. Yes, I can't even remember who they fought. That's my bad. But, you know, they made a good stand, and it's that third-party timing, man. Hard to GG there, but excuse me. DARUMA. They've got a little bit of an altercation going, because DARUMA have to invade their territory. This is going to be interesting. We'll have to see. Excuse me, got a really great surround sound on DARUMA here, but DARUMA have that. Oh, have the compound, but perhaps not for long. That's going to be the push from Black.
Oh yes, and of course they've got you know, they've got the super guard to match. So let's see, the utilities getting sent through. Excuse me, now looking to clear out this building. Oh, this could be an easy shot. This might be an AFK. No, it's not. As the shots continue to fly on through. Fury not just trying to duck in and out of the smoke. One strike into the opponent, gets the hit, and down they go. I mean, absolute carnage.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You see that? I've been seeing that so often this season though, DK, that those smokes just seem to be double strength or something. They can't see a thing until they're right in front of their face. It's been so interesting to watch these kind of awkward little CQC fights just going back and forth, and where are you? Oh, here I am, peekaboo. Just playing peekaboo with these smokes, man. It's been really funny to watch, but GG's DARUMA unfortunately not going to win that one out. And it is Zero Remorse down here. Aizen, oh, he's in such a rough spot here. Actually, I kind of wish he would be more in the. I know, obviously, you know, he's not going to be able to make any shots from in there, but he'd be less visible, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough position to play from. I'm not quite sure whether or not, you know, Aizen's going to be able to maybe reach in, as we can see that onslaught now coming through.
Oh my goodness.
And this is going to be a final attempt now for Zero Remorse to see if they can get beyond that top 6 and maybe make it into the top 5. But with the 4 Romanian men just hanging on the edge, it's going to be a very, very tough position to hold on to.
I just have to say, DK, excuse me, are playing this so aggressively. They're not allowing any tiny bit of momentum to fall from their grasp, and they've just got 18 eliminations. This is insane. We're not English.
Yes.
We're so focused on the fights. We're not actually looking at the tallies that these teams are racking up. And excuse me, with 18, that's a phenomenal amount of points, and there's still 4 teams remaining. The zone has shifted away from them, but with this momentum they got going on, I don't doubt that they'll make it fairly safely. The only thing in their way right now is
Mnauko.
Oh god.
Mnauko.
Mnauko.
I mean, I'm the one that struggles with names. Come on. This is not how it works. Like, I'm allowed to struggle, and of course, speaking about struggle, that is exactly what Mnauko is now experiencing. But they've also dealt quite a bit of a hand into the side there of Game Lord. It is essentially now relying on Robs. And there we go. The shots connect on through, but they too then come under fire as the shots continue to rain down. But excuse me, I love that Western positioning coming through, and they still have the full squad up.
They do. They really do. And that has been a death blow for them. They're going to have to... to be fair, they are outside the zone. Very unfortunate, but they do have a great spot there. Aizen finally going to be going on out there. So GG4, that's going to be nice. But now, excuse me, are on their 20th elimination. Black with 6 for himself. Furia with 7. So looking like a very, very strong team coming into this. And those nades just keep going on through. Furia not letting these teams breathe. There they go with the double nade. And now it's just a 2v4. Excuse me, on top, 4 RM on the bottom. What can they do?
Ooh.
Maybe something. There goes one.
Yeah. I mean, that's quick. Getting taken down real quick. Now down to only Black and Beg, well, and Furia, of course, to see if they can close this one up. I'm not quite sure whether or not the res is going to be able to be brought up there for the side of Black. No. But I mean, Furia and Beg, just look at those elims sitting on 9 and 2. That is some pretty steep figures to be looking at. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was Excuse Me's game.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either, especially with this fantastic angle that Furia's he tried to get that smoke going. He got it, and he got it at the perfect angle that he's able to make this rotation. This is going to be the killer for 4AM if they're not extremely careful here. Furia doing his absolute best not to be seen. This is good. He does get seen, but oh, it's too late. He does get the one. Now here comes the push. He can't go at all 4 angles. Oh, except 2. Okay, he's joined.
Oh,
no, there's 2.
they gotta get it. They gotta get it. Yo!
He does it with the spray. Oh my goodness me.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Furia, 11 eliminations on his own. Oh my goodness me.
I mean, that was just that was insane, right? I mean,
that was
using disgusting here. I mean, probably would work. But I mean, this is beyond disgusting, right? I mean, that was just it was insane. And what a phenomenal performance that was coming through from Excuse Me.
Oh yeah, very strong, very very strong. Such a great game. A game to just off the finals with, DK. I mean, not only is it exciting for us, you know, it gives us and the viewers a great, really get hyped for the rest of the evening, but they've put themselves far and above the rest of the lobby when it comes to that leaderboard. We're going to be seeing quite a gap because 4AM in second place there, 4 eliminations. That's not a bad score, but they've just been completely outdone by Excuse Me with this one. So that gap is going to be really real.
Yeah, I mean, that is, there's going to be a cavity, right, sitting behind the players there from Excuse Me based on the absolutely insane performance that they just brought through. But you got to give it to the 4 Romanian men. I mean, they kept pushing, they kept on trying to find that angle. Unfortunately, the terrain just really wasn't working out all too favorably for them. And I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's the first match. There's still a few more to go, so I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what's going to come next, because we still have 3 more maps to go as the teams are far from done with just this first day.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm super excited to see what the Miramar, I believe it is, has in store for us off the back of this game in particular. I'll be curious to see if some of the finalist teams are going to be making their mark when it comes to that Miramar. I know a lot of teams' best map is not actually Erangel, but actually Miramar. And these teams made a great stand for themselves. They represented themselves very well in this first game, so I'm excited to see what the sands of Miramar are.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be quite a bit to come through, as we know. It's going to be that map number 2. Also, just quickly trying to get a lowdown here as to whether or not we've got all our scores and such updated and being exactly where they're supposed to be. It doesn't seem like we are going to be showing that just yet. But, Nep, got to say, a very, very exciting match coming through here from our teams. Just doubling down and getting hella aggressive right out of the gate. And, of course, we've got 3 more games to go. So, next up, we are going to be heading straight over into Sanhok to see what luscious jungle insanity we're going to have unfolding on that front. But, yeah, it's going to be one to look forward to. So, be sure to stay tuned. And, of course, we'll see you guys right back after the break. What's up, guys, and welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into our second match of the day. Turns out Neptro was right the first time around. It is indeed going to be over on the glorious Miramar. As you can see all the sand in the background, I mean, it's pretty evident, right? That is exactly where we're going to be going. But speaking about exactly, we also need to take a look at the scores to see where exactly our teams are situated after our very first match. And this is where we find them with a very interesting point there, but I mean, actually, it is going to be, excuse me, that is supposed to sit at the top of the board. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this board.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just on my end, right? Don't stress too much about what you see here, but it's going to be, excuse me, sitting up there with a decent helping of 32 points to their name. Then next up, we've got Game Lord sat in second place. We've got the 4 Romanian Men all the way in fourth place. And then, of course, we've got the Zero Remorse team then sitting up in the next slot. Well, actually fourth place, right? So it probably helps if I math correctly. I heard that helps quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, we'll get on the results to make sure that we've got them nice and accurate, that everything is showing the way that it's supposed to. But yeah, for the time being, it is going to be, excuse me, sitting up with a grand total of 34 points to their name. Game Lord sitting on 14 for Romanian Men, as I said, on 12. Then we've got Zero Remorse and Mnauko sitting on 10 points apiece.
Nice. Looking good so far, yeah. Been really interested to see that these teams, these finalists, when they come up against the invited teams, they are not backing down, and in many cases, they are really winning by quite a bit. So some really good work coming in from all of these teams put together, and I'm interested to see how we're going to get into this Miramar coming up right now. Again, very easy playing path for them. Yeah, right across the center, lots of spots to go to. So PUBG is like, you know what, we're gonna make this pretty chill for the first couple of games of the evening, and they just get to go wherever they like. Will we get hot drops? Not so sure. I'm sensing Picado, maybe some El Pozo action, but other than that, I think we're pretty good on that front, DK.
Yeah, I mean, we could be. So it's just going to come down to, you know, how these last few angles then play out. There's still a few more teams that are yet to drop from the plane itself. But now comes the big guess, right? Where's that zone going to go? Because we've got a glorious center zone. It is nearly 100% horizontal, and it's not often that we see this kind of flight path coming through here. So I guess to see what that zone is going to bring through. But of course, also, will there be more hot drop action drops plays coming through now as we progress onwards?
It's kind of looking that way. I mean, it's hard to tell because Game Lord do go to San Martin every time, and UOL do look like they are actually moving there up away from them. There we go. So sometimes it's hard to tell when it's a little early like this to know what's really a hot drop and what's really just going in the same direction. But we can say with certainty El Pozo and Picado do have those hot drops already going on. So seeing a little bit of early action from them. We have Exit Team and Big Baby over in El Pozo. And then we also have, that's No Mercy Warriors, isn't it, down in Picado?
Yep. That is indeed exactly who it is. So let's see what's going to come through here, as the teams are still looking to get a few rotations set out. But Picado is going to be the place to start, especially. I mean, look at this. It is absolutely crammed up. We've got quite a bit of a fight that could be breaking out here.
Yeah.
But again, right, this is the opportunity now for No Mercy Warriors to see what they can get done, whether or not they can maybe bounce back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see how this fight's actually going to go. We see it very often, even at the highest level, that Picado just is such a death trap when it comes to these hot drops, when it comes to these CQC fights. Those red buildings just prolong fights forever and ever. So I'll be definitely interested to see how that one goes. But for RM, Dennis, he has been cornered on this top floor, but he has a DBS in hand. We'll have to see how that goes, but his teammates cannot support him from very close up, so we'll have to see how that goes as well. But it is going to be against DARUMA 104. Dennis down very low. He's got to heal up enough to use that DBS, because DBS has a little bit of delay when it comes up against, you know, guns like the Tommy gun or the UMP. Even those automatic weapons just shred through before you can get a DBS shot out. And as we see here as well, looks like KP or sorry, no, KASIK, rather, they are going to be losing one early, and this comes the push. Thank goodness it's not in these red buildings. Oh dear, KASIK going down there. Unicorn doing good work, though, as Tempest goes down. Oh, but it is going to be Team KASIK going out early in Picado, DK.
I mean, that is a little bit unfortunate. You know, we did see KASIK really bring in quite a bit of performance in that match number 1, but
yeah,
well, I mean, they got 2 eliminations in the previous match, so maybe it's them playing the same approach, right? Who knows? You know, but this could be a bit of a bait and switch, right? KASIK team now just you know, maybe bring in a little bit of a surprise somewhere along the way. But speaking about surprises, we do see quite a bit of an altercation now also coming through in that feed as well.
Yep, we do. Oh my goodness! Now this is where that yeah, very nice. This is where that cover comes into play. They've had time to move on up. Dennis is unfortunately down though, so might not do them that well. Oh my goodness, nope. Are they chatting? That looked like a little bit of a chat there in El Pozo after that knock, but he is going to go down. Dennis goes down as well in that kill feed. So this is not looking good for the teams here, DK. It looks like Big Baby, they're just going to try and move away from this. They are far enough away where they can just make that tactical retreat. Looks like that's what they're going to do. They had Overlaid and just out very, very quickly there. That's not what they want to be doing, and UOL in that kill feed as well, not having the best day on Miramar, it looks like. Can't even see where they are right now. Looks like they went to Hacienda, and Zero Remorse did in fact squad wipe. So Zero Remorse with those 4 eliminations, 4 early eliminations as well, and they are kings of the castle in Hacienda, so GG's there. Do want to mention very briefly though, DK, that western side of zone is going to get very hectic very quickly. I feel some teams may make a huge rotation around over until El Hazahar, potentially. But, I mean, we had a busy east side of zone in the first game, and that was because 2 or 3 teams were there. This is a lot more than that, because not only do you have that western side inside zone full of teams, you have 4 teams on the outside, 5 teams if you count, all the way down to the south there, 5 teams outside the zone on that same side. So this could get very, very busy very quickly.
Yep, it definitely could get quite busy as the players here from DARUMA not just going about their business, looking to get themselves situated and positioned and all over the place. But, you know, speaking about all of that, we can also then try and take a quicker look at those at the standings while we wait. It's now fixed. I mean, it's there. The names, the names and the places work, right? The logos,
the logos.
I know, but whatever, right? It's fine for now.
It's cool.
It's okay. We've got the names and the points matching up, so we've got it right then and there. So that's looking good. In the meanwhile, we are still waiting for any of those major altercations to come through. I'm keeping an eye on that, but in the meanwhile. Here we have it, right? So we can see, those 10 elims doing, you know, a really comfortable position for them overall. So, you know, I think they're going to be feeling quite happy about that one, at least, you know, to kick off the day with.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot. It's a big gap for sure, but those teams 2nd to really 7th, 8th, looking very indeed. I mean, just for a first game, that's very, very easily taken. All these teams still in it for sure, and a good show of teams from both the finalists and the invited on either side, looking really, really strong so far, and it's continuing to look that way into game 2. DARUMA, 1 elimination, but they've traded that. They've lost demand, so they'll have to be a little bit more careful to the next phases of this game. You see REXPECT just lurking in those hillsides up to the top side, and they still have 4RM beside them as well. So be a little bit careful as we move in here, but again, that is just a group descending from whatever vehicle they had. Game Lord. Ooh. Though not quite hitting, but just a warning shot. Very nicely done there as they try and go up against who is this? Remind me.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly who it is.
Okay.
Zero Remorse. It's Zero Remorse.
Oh, you know it's right. Of course,
Yeah.
it's without the tag. Gotcha.
Yeah, Bambi. I mean, Bambi, Zero Remorse, that's exactly
Bambi.
what it is. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely don't want Bambi to get caught up in the headlights. I mean, that would be the worst. You know, flashback to my childhood, all that. It's fine, it's okay. This is PUBG. We don't have any of that. But we do see M249s. So I want to see whether or not Bambi is now going to look to bring that up on towards the side there of Game Lord.
That's interesting. Wow, Game Mode very quickly retreated from there, didn't they? Interesting. All right, so Akashi is not down. He has gotten back up a little bit there, but very interesting. Game Lord just made an immediate retreat, and now they're coming back in. That's nicely played from them. They don't have to stay there if they don't have to, but now they're making that play again, and it might not go in Zero Remorse's way this time.
Yeah, it might just not, so let's see how this one is going to unfold. Game Lord definitely going to be keeping up a very tough position as Aizen gets taken on down alongside Ghoul. It's now riding on Arrow and Bambi, but here we go. Nice spray, puts in quite a bit of damage onto Robs, but Akashi going to try and just ride that ridge and try and maybe sneak in a bit of a finisher here. 4 eliminations already under the belt here.
Oh, that's nice.
But Bambi
Beautiful.
getting taken right on down. It now turns to Arrow, and I'm not quite sure. Well, Arrow's looking for Arrow. That's where they're going to be going as they go rolling down the side of the hill with the lovely Golden Dorado.
Wow. Yeah. Yep, that's his team done and dusted. That's a big shame for Zero Remorse. They had control of that hillside, but just Game Lord just a little bit too strong for them in this case. And at least, you know, he's got a nice sports car to weigh in. That's nice. And Arrow, hey, he's still up. They've got 4 eliminations. They got rid of UOL, so they've got a full squad wipe to their name. If he could just stay alive a little bit longer, it's still a decent game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's all they need. But of course, now, speaking about a decent game, we could look to see exactly the same thing come through from the side of DARUMA as well, right? Still going to be holding a steady angle here. DARUMA also being one of those teams that could do with a few extra points. I mean, well, everybody would love to have a few extra points come through. But DARUMA only sitting with 2. So, I mean, they've added 1 on now. So that is 3. Let's see where they're going to go for this match.
Let's see, indeed. I mean, we've just seen Excuse Me come up from the south, and they've just decided to plonk themselves into the northern side of Los Leones, and that's going to be very dangerous. We did see DARUMA and Excuse Me go head-to-head in that the final phases of Game 1. It didn't go in DARUMA's favor, but I think nothing really did. Everything kind of went into Excuse Me's favor in that game. No team had the opportunity to win big against Excuse Me. They were just on a different level that game. Will they continue that momentum coming into Game 2 with a completely different map? The tides may have turned in certainly to favor if they can catch a couple of sneaky angles, get those early surprise eliminations, and then go for it from there. They could definitely take Excuse Me on and win that one.
Yeah. Let's see if that one's going to work. In the meanwhile, we've got Game Lord now holding up here, trying to see if they can maybe get a bit of a play with the young roster now picking up the sprays. Yeah, Narvalo with a little bit of an overpeak, staying on that ridge a little bit too long for their comfort, but I like this position coming through now from the young roster. Beautiful spread, but unfortunately Ghost not able to push in to save their teammate. But of course, a few nades that could look to close it up as the sprays continue to fall. Fly through.
My goodness, what is it with Game Lord and Miramar? They are just wrecking teams left, right, and center. Again, well played from young roster. It was a really, really good play there with those off angles. They had the nades, they had the spots. They were doing really, really well there, but Game Lord just have this momentum. Similar to what we saw from Excuse Me in Game 1. They just got this momentum going on, but can they keep up that pressure onto Team 10 now? No Mercy Warriors, they're looking for their share of the action, and they are going to have it. Hisk going down there to a sniper.
I mean, that was a beautiful hit coming through, but of course, a little bit of repayment, you know, a little bit of that justice coming through as Narvalo gets taken down. I mean, not out just yet, but this is the opportunity now for the No Mercy Warriors to really arrive, right? Step up, show a lot of aggression, and they do exactly that as Tempest picks up Robs. It's now down to Victor and Akashi, the final 2 contenders from the side of Game Lord, up against the full squad still.
Yeah. Very nicely played there. Rob's, has been known very much for his DPS plays. Couldn't get it done though. It's gonna be no Mercy Warriors just be shutting him down, and a good nade coming through there. This is what's so dangerous about these little cliff sides. You get caught and they easily just cooked that a little bit too long, Narvalo did, so that's not going to quite do the work, but really nicely played from No Mercy. Look at the angles they're moving around. They just keep that movement going and going and going, but his might just get a little bit caught out here. Yes, he does, as they go in, and now it's another one. It's a 1v1.
Oh.
1v2, but the DBS will win, not in Rob's hands, but in the hands of No Mercy Warriors. GG's, very, very well played from them.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very exciting fight to come through from them. I mean, it took a minute, but of course they've got 8 elims out of, in total out of that whole situation. So what a great way to go. Of course, I just quickly wanted for our OCD friends out there watching. This is the scoreboard. It's working properly. All the logos, the names, everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. So there we go, in case you were, like, whatever. But anyway, back to the action. Let's see what the teams are going to bring through. And, yeah, I mean, still, looking at the opportunities we've got available here, there's still quite a bit of opportunity to play it, especially down towards that Los Leones. I mean, we do have a nice bit of congestion coming through there as well, but as Mnauko now starts to move up, they could actually find a bit of a jump on towards the exit team.
Yes, they could. Yeah, and this is where we're going. That DBS still being used quite a bit here. This is a rough compound for exit team to really try and hold on to. These kinds of shacks just don't give you the kind of clear cover you'd like to see, you'd like to have when you come up against a team like this. Oh, that's a good nade though. Not quite going to hit its mark, and they do have one down. So currently the advantage is on exit team's side, but how long will that last? You can see a really nice split coming in from exit team as well. Just coming in that 1-1 either side and the 2 on front. So Mnauko, they're going to have to be a little bit careful here. Yep, that's a fallback. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good goal to make. I mean, we still have Squizzy up on the front line, looking to be quite inquisitive. But as we know, as long as they don't overextend, exit team holding a decent spread here as well. I mean, I like these angles coming through. Bot also right there up on the front line. But this is quite a bit of a gatekeep on towards Mnauko now.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Pika Peaks has gone down. Just a bit unfortunate, yeah. And Exit doing a really good job of doing that gatekeep, as you said. I was thinking perhaps some of the reason why Mnauko did make that kind of quick retreat was because the zone has gone away from them entirely. But Exit making sure that they don't exit quietly, if you know what I mean. They're going to be trying to keep that team on the outside of the zone or in their kill count. So they're going to be trying either way to do that. We'll be seeing. So yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But the migration south or migration north from the south is happening currently. And it looks like Excuse Me and REXPECT might be the next ones to hit it off, and not really in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, they could get caught in a little bit of that crossfire, but I mean, that is the fate of a majority of our teams that are yet to push forward in towards the zone. I like what the Black is doing over here, cooking up a few nades, trying to create that entry point, and they do succeed with getting the knock. So that is going to be one down, one more to go. Oh, there we have it. Steps on in and just clears the building.
Black, man. Black, he has been all season, and he's not stepping down here. Such a great game from him. He usually plays, if I'm not mistaken, that offense port role. So nice to see him coming in, making those CQC pushes, as well as very versatile of him to do. And Rex there just going to be chilling, but also No Mercy Warriors after taking out Game Lord. They haven't moved spot, and why would you? Out in the open, and Black is not somebody you want to catch you out there. They're going to have to be very, very careful indeed if they want to stay alive. I don't know, DK, what you thinking?
I don't know. It's going to be a pretty tough play. I mean, there's not a lot of space.
It's so open.
Really. I mean, there's not a lot of space, but there is a lot of space, right? This is Miramar. It's just kind of weird like that. So when it looks like you're running out of space, I mean, there's still quite a bit more to go. But it's quite interesting to not really see a lot of teams utilizing that northern position. Instead, we do see the teams really prioritizing the elevation that we have. Well, guess where it is? It's over on the southeastern side.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I love that La Bendita is actually being able to come into play here. It's such a great piece of high ground. It's so dynamic. So it's really nice to see that actually being able to be played in this zone. You don't generally see it very often in competitive matches. And a few teams are actually taking advantage of it. Yeah, we see Mnauko here, the gang. They're all on that western side, just trying to get rid of this last player of REXPECT if they possibly can. But excuse me, looking to move in as well on that northern side, or southern side rather. We'll just have to see how that one sorts itself out. But Mnauko, for now, currently still a three-man up, so they definitely have the advantage against REXPECT here. Let's see how they do this. It's such a difficult compound again to really play from because you're so limited with this high ground, so limited on what you usually do. So nades are really where it's at, and we're going to be seeing those utilized ASAP.
Yeah, but of course, as we know, looking at these compounds, you never know what to expect from REXPECT as they just waiting steadily. Mnauko now getting ready for a bit of a push. The mollies, ooh, not really going where was they aimed at, but it's okay. They still have a bit of a force to amount here.
Right.
Let's see, will they get this rush though? Squizzy gonna be daring the initial steps, a bit of free fire, nothing wrong with that, but now they need to be careful as they get in circle. There's gonna be REXPECT now rushing in, and down they go. Mnauko gets taken out. REXPECT picking up 3 elims.
Very nice. I think I done saying how Mnauko have advantage in REXPECT. They don't have much they can do. Just make me wrong. Basically, they've just come in and swept out Mnauko from the lobby. So GG's REXPECT. That's more eliminated on their side. But now, excuse me, and 4RM rather. They're gonna be. Ooh, that's gonna be a really nice spray. M4 3 times. It's really the best combo you can possibly have on that weapon. Such a great thing to have on that gun, and you're gonna be seeing black quite a bit here. Geez, REXPECT just need to look in the exit team as well. They'll be doing his best to kind of defend this. Again, they're outside of zone. It's a hard compound to defend when you're in. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, let's see. Indeed, it's now gonna be Lewis just holding steady, listening to all the rotations and such coming through around them. But as you can see, there's still quite a bit of an opportunity to play at, right? The big baby team already getting themselves situated smack dab center zone. I love what Strangers are doing as well, also moving in towards that northeastern side. But look, all the way down south, I mean, that is where things could really get super exciting. As we've got such a great bit of openness coming through there for easy for sure, rather.
Yeah, for sure. Daruma as well, up in Graveyard. Ooh, this is gonna be a very wrong play for them, I feel. I don't think they're really expecting anybody on this eastern side, but we know there's everybody on this eastern side, so they've made this game 10 times harder for them rather than going over to that western side, rather, where it's completely open. But not to worry, I'm sure they'll manage if they've got their wits about them. But excuse me, looking to do some gatekeeping here. Yeah, Ducio going down there. Oh, but it will be Zero Remorse finally going out that solo arrow. He did last for a long time, but he will be going out in that 8th place. And Daruma as well, not looking so happy either. I think that's them out.
Ooh, it could be quite a troubling play. Let's see whether or not they're going to be able to weather the storm that's going to be coming through, as it is a mass push. I mean, need to be careful with these words. I don't want to mix them up because I might say something that I might regret a little bit later on. But either which way, we're down to 7 teams, right? 7 teams having to show us, what they've got and how they're going to look to push through this. Yes, DARUMA is indeed out of the fight. But now it's going to be the 4 Romanian men going up against Strangers DB. Oh, could this be the player, as the 4 Romanian men find themselves quite exposed here?
Yeah, it's very exposed, but unfortunately, it's just the lay of the land. This is how it is. They can't do a whole lot about it. They've just gotten stuck between these two teams. That's not going to be good for the whole. And Strangers BD actually doing some really good work here. I've been really impressed with the splits these guys have got going on. You know, many of these teams, they got some really, really nice plays coming out here. And doing very well. Ooh. Again, with Strangers doing excellent work there. They're just hemming them in, getting them nading the heck out of them, and it's working. GG's. And now the south side of zone all to themselves. REXPECT do have this spot as well. That's who I was looking at, the south side. So they have the south side to themselves, except for excuse me, but they still have to be careful of exit team who are not in zone, but are making their way into zone very, very quickly. It's centered up on Big Baby DK, so they've got a big game on their hands if they can pull this off.
Yep, definitely. They could have a phenomenal game here. But it's all going to come down to how they treat this last little push, right? Because there's so many teams still holding onto the surrounding area. And it is going to limit their approach somewhat. But, I mean, if they're able to utilize these compounds, I mean, that could be that golden ticket to secure themselves the winner chicken dinner. Of course, now Team Exit also now looking for a bit of a play. Oh! But Big Baby says no.
Yeah, they say big no. Interesting that, hang on, let me just check. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Yeah, easy for sure on that side. I was like, exit team just went straight on the other side of that zone. That's interesting. No, that's two different teams. They're just yellow. So yeah, easy for sure on this other side here. Looking to make a play against excuse me. This could go very well for them if they make this push quick, but I'm worried because Galasha rather, is on his own. He can't get that cover from his teammates, and I think he knows that. So that's going to be immediate push back and get into zone. So that's the better play, I think. But I'm certainly interested to see how it's going to end up against excuse me, because they are going to have to fight them at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one indeed. But for the time being, it's gonna be the players now from Strangers looking for a bit of an opportunity, maybe spotting a bit of a pixel play there. Ooh, REXPECT also still trying to get themselves situated. But I mean, Strangers are like this 2-2 split. It really allows them quite a bit of coverage, and they've got a good assessment as to what is happening, especially on this plateau. Seeing that it is gonna be smack dab center zone. But that also allows them to get a bit of an advantage up towards REXPECT and excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a good ridge for them. They're so lucky this is inside zone, because this will make sure that teams like excuse me can't get down, right? They're all outside of zone. They all have to move up over that ridge, and now you have both Big Baby and the Strangers BD actually stopping them, gatekeeping them, and I think it would be in both teams' best interest if they didn't look at each other right now, just focus on the teams around them, and look at each other. If they look at each other now, they're just going to get picked apart. But for now, Strangers is doing just that, and instead taking their attention over to Easy for sure. Just a solo left now, excuse me, making their play, but it's all chaos. They're actually going to be looking for Easy for sure. Excuse me can be Big Baby's problem.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds so weird to hear that all in the same sentence, but either which way, let's see how it goes. The 5 teams left to fight it out. It's going to be Galasha just holding steady, trying to ride out that ridge. But of course, now still Strangers holding the fort down. But I like what Big Baby are doing here. I mean, they're not letting anyone really sneak up on them. And I mean, this is such a difficult position to play because you don't have clear line of sight over these ridges. And there's a lot of obstructions, which opens up the opportunity for teams to really sneak in. So big ups to the Big Baby here. But, you know, they're not out of the woods. As we can see, Black now just trying to sneak in. Oh, that nade.
Oh, my goodness. And the problem is he knows that damage has been dealt, so that's going to be an extra nade going very, very quickly over that way. Is he going to be so lucky next time? I doubt it. So he's going to have to be very careful about where he puts himself. But the zone continues to center up over Big Baby. I mean, this is huge for them. If they can just keep it going, maintain the status quo, they could have an excellent game here. But Strangers looking very strong here.
Yeah, they definitely are. Oh, nice push coming through. Chaos getting met with quite a bit of lead. Now, Ramon and Andre just going to be holding steady. This is the push. 3 squads remain. But this is where it's also still super scary because, excuse me, they've not really moved up just yet. Looking to play the opportunity, but Andre gets one. Down they go. And this is a glorious run now for Strangers. But, of course, excuse me, still hanging in the wing. And this could be the opportunity to strike.
It absolutely could, and they're going to take any opportunity they can get. Excuse me, as a duo, definitely. Oh, see, they only. Surely they know, right? Surely they know that there were 2 down just there. They should have made that push immediately. Now, oh, hang on. Maybe not. Maybe they make the push now. I don't know. They felt so grouped up. They should have made that push then and now. But it's a bit late for that. But they do get that double knock now anyway. So here comes the push. Potentially, you got Black and Beck, both very good players here, and they're going to be making their way across. Hopefully, maybe we'll be seeing. They can't allow them to get res back up. That's just a non-negotiable at this point. But here comes the push now, DK.
Yeah, this is the push. This is the opportunity. Excuse me, going to be looking to just lock in another potential winner chicken dinner. And it's still going to take quite a bit of work, but this could be, this could mean rather, that Strangers get served a little bit of that B&B action with the Black, well, not up on their feet anymore. Let's see whether or not Beck is going to be able to clutch it out. Waits for the opportunity, bounces on Batman,
he
but
doesn't.
Batman wings it out.
GG's. There we go. Volt taking home 8 eliminations for himself alone. Very, very well done by Excuse Me there. It was a good push. It was a good game for them as well. I mean, 6 points in second place. That's going to be really nice to just maintain that lead. But Strangers coming back, fighting after that first game. In home, let's quick maths here. 15 kills? Yep, 15. I think that's what that is. Very nicely done indeed. And Big Baby as well. Not a whole lot of nations, but they got that 3rd place. So very well done to all these teams.
Yeah, I mean it was an amazing show, as we know. The teams just you know, they stepped up. They were ready to shake up whatever they could find. And I mean, Nep, they really shook it, right? It's like, I don't think there's much left of that table. They just shook the daylights out of it. But again, a very, very satisfying performance going through here yet again. I mean, Excuse Me, definitely putting in a lot of hard work in this game. I mean, they came so close. It was so close, just on the edge. But as we know, that's not what the PUBG overlords had in mind. Yeah. And they got denied entry towards that point. But either which way, still a good, decent play. And even the players there from Exit Team, I mean, they went out all the way in 6th place, still able to secure themselves a decent finish, 7 eliminations up. Yeah. And say a healthy dose of points. And I mean, as we know, they could do with a few additional points being being sent in their direction. I just want to double check. I think the scores have been updated. I think so. It might be.
Excellent.
Let's take a quick gander at those as well as we move through. So it's going to be Excuse Me now sitting up on a very comfortable 48 points to their name. Yeah. I mean, that is a pretty steep climb coming through there.
That's huge.
But it's a glorious one nonetheless, Laura.
Yeah. That's huge for 2 games, to have 48 points in 2 games like that. Very well done. But honestly, Strangers coming in with only 20 points behind them. And again, in 2 games. So very, very well done to actually grab those points immediately and close that gap up immediately. They really stepped up to the plate with that one.
Oh, yes. They stepped up to the plate. They grabbed hold with both hands. Looking to see what they can get done here. So, yeah, good run coming through there from them. But, of course, as we know, we did see a bit of a climb, right? Game Lord, I mean, they also tried their best this match. As we know, they got sent out in 12th place, but fortunately, they also picked up 8 eliminations in the process.
Yeah, really nice.
So, you know, that's the kind of consistency that you want to try and bring through. Steadily climbing up the leaderboard. But I think, Excuse Me, definitely going to be a team to try and catch because, I mean, they are being quite unapologetic in these first 2 games.
Yes, it's very true. I mean, that's such a great word, unapologetic. And these teams are going to have to be very quick to kind of make them apologize because they're going to, if these teams allow them to get away with just the domination that they have been giving us so far, they're going to have to, they're just going to run away with it, right? They're going to run away and the momentum's going to be too much and the teams will not be able to get past them. So they have to really nip this in the bud very early. Hopefully, you know, the next game, Sanhok coming up, if they go out very early and Strangers and Game Lord, maybe even 4RM, do really well here, then then that will put a little bit more thought into Excuse Me's plays, because at the moment they're just running with it. So I'd like to see Sanhok in particular become a game for them a little lower down on that leaderboard to try and grab those points, and maybe just make it, oh, hang on, you know, there are other teams that might actually do some damage, because right now, man.
Yeah, they're running on a bit of a rampage, but as we know, they still one or two more games to go for these teams to try and secure any additional points that they can find out on the battlefield. Of course, next up we are going to be running across over into Sanhok to see what the teams are going to be bringing through in the jungle. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back after the break. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into match number 3. Of course, we are going to be venturing out over onto the glorious, glorious Sanhok. But before that, we need to show you the results again. I mean, in case someone forgot, right?
Yeah.
You know, no pressure. Let's take a look at those results again to see where our teams find themselves after our first 2 games of the day. And of course, as we can see, a very exciting set of performances that we've had come through here. We've already spoken about, excuse me, just stepping up and, you know, going to town.
Yeah.
But Sanhok's up next. It's a map that lends itself to aggression, and I'm curious to see what's going to come through on that one.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm looking particularly at 4th through kinda to 10th or 11th. There's still a lot of work to be done in terms of, you know, we're seeing quite a few, or rather 2 ties there, you know, 15-15 and 11-11. So there's a lot of points to be gained here, especially on this Sanhok. A lot of teams will be able to make that push through and get that win. So I'm looking at a lot of these teams, DK, to be kind of trying to use this game as their breakout game from these kind of ties that we're seeing down here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you would love to see a few well-deserved tiebreakers come through. And of course, as we know, what better way to see those tiebreakers other than hopping into that glorious Sanhok. A little bit of a rumble in the jungle. And speaking about rumbles, speaking about jungles, it's about that time. So let's head on over. It is going to be the flight path starting up north, heading down south. But, I mean, we've said this so many times, right? Sanhok flight path doesn't really matter all that much. What is going to matter, though, is going to be that first initial zone. And I'm curious to see if there's going to be any major hot drops coming through.
I would love to see that, honestly. Gamelord in particular did a lot of hot dropping in boot camp. They tried to really make boot camp their own. Not entirely sure if they succeeded in that, but if they use this this game as an opportunity to go to boot camp, we may see some teams go their way as well. So I'm going to be for sure. But no, Gamelord have decided not to go to boot camp. They're going to be going over to that quarry side instead. But we have plenty of hot drop tent galore. Look at Paradise. We have 3 teams in there, DK. My goodness.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. It's going to be sweaty and quite sunny, as you can see. The teams, though, looking to get themselves situated. Camp Charlie is going to be a pretty hot one, as you said. I mean, Paradise also, but the spray is already starting to come on through. We now just wait to see where that first zone is going to be appearing. In the meanwhile, there is going to be no mercy. Ooh, getting shown no mercy as they are taken out first.
They are. That was 4 teams there. Now we're just down to 3. No Mercy, you've been having such a good run so far, but UOL just grabbing those better positions, better weapons, and they're going to be going out very quickly here. Looks like Exit Team got this 2-2 split as well. Could be very, very dangerous for them as the zone does go down to the south side, so they're going to have to kind of hurry this up and move along because the zone will not favor them forever. But they have a little bit of time still. You have Zero Remorse as well, currently taking care of business on the west side. But that leaves UOL time to kind of just make this at their own pace, heal up, recover, and move on to Exit Team. But I think Exit Team trying to move away and help their brothers over to the UOL could actually have the advantage here.
Yep, they could. But now, look at this.
Oh,
ULC pushing in. It's going to be Nexit to make a potentially quick exit on that one. Checkmate, yep, I want to see it. Is it going to be the opportunity here for ULC to pull it out of the bag? Still 2 players up. So we got EXE and Checkmate now just doing their due diligence. You can see Furia not going to be backing out of the opportunity here, trying to get up onto a little bit of that elevation. And those windows up in Lobster and the roof, I mean, that is going to be quite the position to contest against.
It really is. I mean, Furia definitely has a very dominant spot. Unfortunately for him, though, he is a solo and a solo only, so this is going to be such a difficult thing for him to do, but he does have the best position and has the best building to try and make his final stand in, so shouldn't be too difficult, but now ULC up to a trio. They look like they might be trying to get this reset entirely. I don't know. I think this might be a little bit of a mistake here. You're allowing Furia to have all that information and have time, and time is money when it comes down to these altercations. So I have to see how that goes as well. But things are coming true, DK. As I said before the break, you know, if we were to go out early, it's up to the rest of those teams to really step up, and actually Furia is just going to get out of there. Again, potential little bit of a mistake here. Furia, a great fragger. He's definitely one of the team that I would, you know, favor to be a solo if he had to be. So we could see, excuse me, still do well, but may have to cut off by REXPECT. This could be huge for them, but I think, excuse me, just gonna have to kind of just chill out here for a little bit until they get bored and move on. So we'll have to see how that goes. But GG's to ULC. They're a team that have been struggling a little bit so far, so they have managed to go up against the #1 team and win out pretty effectively. So GG's there, and they're going to be feeling very good about this going forward, DK.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really deny them any of that because they've been doing quite a bit of work. Of course, now speaking about the work, we also jump across the board over to Easy for sure, as they now look to come knocking on the door here of the players there from Daruma. But it's looking pretty dangerous. Oh, nice bit of defense coming through, and it is going to be at least somewhat of a clutch. One down, two more to go. And this could still be the opportunity for Easy for sure to maybe get the clutch in on towards Daruma.
Yeah, for sure. Perhaps not. Oh, it's just not for you. It's just not for you. Daruma looked like they were going to be going down there, but perhaps not. They've done a really good job of just clutching out that bit by bit, and here comes the retreat because they got no meds. I don't think they have meds, DK.
No, they've got nothing aside from an energy drink, right? That is essentially all they've got.
There they are. Out. Wow.
It's tickets.
That's a shame.
Yeah, yeah. Who is that? I mean, how do you pronounce the name? Sulio? Sure. Let's go with Sulio.
Sure.
Yeah, Sulio, the last one for Daruma to try and survive. Down they go. But now, speaking about the last ones, Furia also still going to be looking to hold it strong. I mean, we did see 20 eliminations, 11 eliminations come through from Furia in the very first match. So I want to see where this one is going to look to push him towards next. Maybe we could see a little bit of that return come through.
Yeah, we absolutely could. I mean, especially if he just chills for a little bit and allows REXPECT and ULC to do some crossfighting if that's what they want to do. I think Furia here is, he's preparing for the clear. ULC probably should be doing, honestly. They should be trying to clear out every building they possibly can, make sure they don't miss him. So he's just waiting there prone with that S12. Let's see what he does with that. But for now, we're going to be moving on over to Zero Remorse and UO. Well, getting that really nice knock. Yeah, Aizen did his best. He tried to get across there, but no, the sights were too strong. And Beast gets that knock. Quite long range for an M7. So GG's to Beast there, but they are able to get that Michi back up, and the fight continues. Oh, here we go, though. It's getting close. Outside the door. Oh, but there's all three of them. Oh, ouch.
Yeah. That's a
ouchie, Walla.
Yeah, that's a big ouchie coming through on that one. But, you know,
it is.
Well done. ULC stepping up, bringing in a little bit of that UFC action as they push in and they take down, excuse me. But no, as you were mentioning before, REXPECT, they're just going to be hanging around up on the hill. But they've actually adopted a 2-2 split here, and this could be a very interesting approach. Should they be able to capitalize on the opportunity. And of course, we go from ULC to Unicorns of Love, as they now turn their focus even more so onto Zero Remorse. 2 players down, 2 still up, and it's going to be Ghoul and Bambi now trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, indeed. It's not gone quite as well as they would have hoped for Zero Remorse. Yoel really stepping up to the plate here. They do have that one fight under their belt. They're going in for another. They're going to be trying and grabbing everything they can. Yeah, and that's going to be, I think, that's going to be Zero Remorse just moving away now, trying to get that retreat going. Because there's nothing left the up against a squad, and they have control of Paradise now. So it's really in their best interest to just move into zone and forget about them completely. So that's what they're going to be doing. But that's a shame for Zero Remorse. They look like they could have good control of that. But I think what we missed there was probably a third party by UOL on to the fight that was going on before with Zero Remorse. So I think they had a little bit of advantage going into it, and KASIK having to move away, and fortunately for them, YRG or Young Roster rather, they're gonna miss those shots. So they know they're there, and they're not gonna have any damage for it. We'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, it is gonna be Game Lord just on the opposite end, ready to welcome them on through. But also, as we can see, that blue zone is going to be closing up as well, so we could be jumping into that stage 2 just in a short few moments as the clock is slowly ticking on down. But this is where I'm not that worried for Young Roster, because they are holding a very, very centralized positioning. So, I mean, they could make some magic happen right then and there. But of course, Mnauko also now going to be holding a very steady angle here. They've heard the big baby starting to rotate up. Ooh, they jump at the opportunity. And it's going to be Squizzy. He's now looking to squeeze every little bit of health out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice bit of surprise angle. This is just the worst spot in the zone, honestly. These rocks do absolutely nothing but give your position away. And Baby have moved up onto it. Unfortunately, it's not gone very well for them, but those continue to fly. And here comes the backup with that vehicle coming forward from Pika Peak. It's looking very good, very well orchestrated.
Oh, but will it go all the way to the bank though? Squizzy goes down, but now it's up to Steko. Down goes Steko. No, come on, one more left. Blitz now having to find that last bit of a spray. Andre going to be holding up alongside the rock. A bit of third-party peeking coming through here, but Blitz going to continue to approach and move on forward. They need that entry. They need the points. They want the angles, but will they be able to get it? The spray comes through and they get denied access.
Wow. Oh my goodness me. And the best part about this is now Big Baby have only lost one out of this altercation. They can get these reses back up on the other two. So they've only lost the one for that 4 elimination wipe there. Geez, but honestly, they did a good job there. Both teams did. I mean, Mnauko coming in there with that surprise, I thought they had that, but unfortunately, you know, those 1v1s, you can have the best strategies in the world, and you fail those 1v1s, and it's not going to go well for you. So, big shame for them, but well played nonetheless. ULC now running into some trouble because REXPECT have bided their time. They knew they would want to come out of that compound eventually, and now here it comes out into the open they go, and ULC just not having a great time.
Yeah, but of course, Spyro showing a lot of trigger discipline, waiting for the opportune angle now to just hit on that EXE button. And down to 1. You'll see, well, no, maybe down to 3, as we can still see Exit holding up there, trying to keep a nice angle on that. Narvalo, in the meanwhile, getting ready for a bit of an altercation against the Young Roster, but I like this assault approach coming through here from the Young Roster, leading 2 players on the front line. Having the rest get ready for a little bit of a push, as we can see Ghost now just slowly starting to encroach up on towards Narvalo. And this is great to see, right? These teams really challenging some of the more stronger teams that we know.
Absolutely, and winning. So there's definitely a lot of talent in these teams coming up into this these few games here. It's really, really nice to see. You know, they're giving these teams a run for their money. Ghost, though, does get spotted out just a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to get right back up. Yeah, I'm not sure about this in particular, though. Young Roster don't really have angles on this compound that they can really, really use. In fact, Game Lord have more angles on them. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is going forward. They could probably use some nades into some windows, but not without exposing themselves too much there. So I think they're going to have to call it a day on this. They're going to have to move away and just try and gatekeep them potentially when the zone moves away.
Well, I mean, it's only going to be a few more moments to go, as we can see that blue zone just tightening it up. But, I mean, if I was Young Ross, I would also be a little bit concerned about the position coming through from KASIK. Obviously, they can't see what we can, so I'm curious to find out how that is going to play out. But in the meanwhile, It's going to be Zero Remorse now looking to push on up. Of course, making their approach coming through from that far northern territory. They got Unicorns of Love hanging up and around them. ULC also right there. But I love that position from REXPECT. We can see them on the northern edge of the zone. And that allows them, again, some really strong control of the territory.
Yeah, it really, really does. REXPECT got a really... It's okay, I'm going to just interrupt my own thought there because it's interesting down to the south side. There's the majority of the teams. So you got a few teams coming in on that north side and then the majority down by Painan. So it's an interesting distribution. It's always interesting where teams decide to go because that tells you where they think the zone is going to go. So we have a few who are kind of controlling this north side, but I think the majority think it is going to center up over Painan or that area, the river in particular. But we'll be seeing how that ends up going as we move over to Painan. And we got Big Baby and 4RM. So Big Baby moved off that hillside down into the compounds. 4RM are already here. And they do get one. Ramon goes down to that DBS. And now they're going to be making their way through the rest of the team. Will they be able to fight back? Let's see.
Well, I mean, they do try and take a little bit more of an explosive approach here, as it is going to be Rana and the rest of the crew now just trying to spread themselves out, but Andre brings in a good bit of defense, finds the initial trade, sends Dennis backing, and down to 3 pieces the 4 Romanian men go, but will they be able to pick up the final few pieces? The rush comes up in the window, it's a bit of pre-fire, now it's going to be Rana just ushering out, up they go, Andre getting traded up, and with that, I mean, Big Baby down to only Chaos now.
Yeah, they've done a very good job there. It was a good defense, but I think just a little bit, potentially a little bit too casual with that. There should have been a little bit of a tighter angle coming in there, a little bit of a stronger cover for their teammates. But you know what, Big Baby, geez, anyway, and 4RM going to be taking home a little bit of that win. I don't think Big Baby are out completely, are they? No, this just got Chaos left, but he was far away, so he's just going to be a solo. That is unfortunate, but nonetheless, they are still alive, so that's got to count for something. JLD have moved out of those compounds, though, so this is where Young Roster can really strike. Narvalo going down from across the way, though, I think. That's Team KASIK from across the river doing some work as well, so put both of these teams in a little bit of a hard place. Yeah,
I mean, Young Roster, they just got traded up just between Game Lord and the players there from Strangers BD, so... You know, this is still a very, very spicy lobby. We still have 10 teams getting ready to show us what they've got as we now wait to see where the next zone is going to be taking us. Of course, it centers up on Painan. That is exactly the kind of zone finish that we want to come through. But the 4 Romanian men now have a phenomenal setup here. They've already got those compounds just secured on towards the southern edge. And there's still a lot of teams that are yet to rotate through.
Yeah, and I'm very worried for Big Baby Chaos because there's going to be a lot of teams that need a lot of shelter up on that open ground as those teams from the south start to make their way up. And that shack is one of the only really hard cover that they've got. So I think Chaos is going to have to be on his toes for a bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to that space for much longer. But as we look over at Exit Team, now here's a team with 0 eliminations so far. They've been very, very quiet so far. They're just going to be chilling. They're going to be very quiet and moving. Where are they? Moving up right from the very, from cave basically. So they're actually very far away, made a very late rotation behind a lot of teams. But this could mean that they've got some really, really good back opportunities here as we get closer to that zone. But for now, UOL, 7 eliminations. This is the kind of gameplay we want to see from them after the last couple of games. Looking at REXPECT now.
Yeah, this could be a great bit of proving ground. URL versus REXPECT. I mean, you know, that sounds quite appetizing at any point. But it's going to be still a little bit of a struggle here as URL Unicorns of Love not having a clear line of sight. They do have safe entry or safe passage back up in towards the zone. But speaking about safety, Game Lord now looking to rob the players here from Strangers DB of all the safety they could have had. But instead, Rob's now getting taken on down as Volt just charges up with the assault here. Still one more left. Narvalo going to be riding on the edge. Looking to see if they can maybe close up this altercation, but the blue zone is going to come swinging on through, just adding to the damage that they'll be experiencing. But Narvalo, starting to retreat and instead leaving Strangers out in the blue.
Yeah, Strangers they're gonna have quick with this because that zone is coming in very, very quickly and very spicily as well. That health on very quickly indeed. So they're going to have to be very quick with that. And now I've said very enough times. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at where this zone has gone, and KASIK having a hard time as well. Strangers, everybody's out in the zone. Look at the south side. KASIK not having a good time at all, as is GLD. So now only Narvalo is remaining. One of Strangers has managed to make it to zone. The other one, I think that might be a bit of a med strat coming in from him. He can't make it to zone on time, I don't think, or he's going to be very low when he does. UOL, they have a great spot on this zone now. They can gatekeep REXPECT. It's going to be difficult, but they could absolutely do it, so we'll have to see how that goes. And yes, Strangers are reunited. He did have a buggy or something there, so he was able to grab it and go. But we are over in Painan, and here's that fight. 4M been here all game, DK.
Yeah, they've been here quite a minute. That doesn't make any sense, but sure, let's go on. As it's now up to Dexter looking to see what they can get, as Unicorn runs head first into a serious case of lead right there. And that's the 5th elimination now being brought in for the 4 Romanian men. But they are one of 3 teams still sitting on a 3-piece. I mean, we've got them, we've got REXPECT and Unicorns of Love. But, of course, Unicorns and REXPECT, they are all situated up in towards the northern edge of the zone. But I love what Dexter is doing here, keeping a very tight angle on towards Chaos. And, yep, there we go. The shots connect on through. But that means one thing. It's going to be REXPECT now trying to push over in towards Painan, potentially.
Yeah, this is really nicely done from REXPECT. Actually, they couldn't make that headlong push into UOL. They're going to get taken out immediately. Instead, they use those angles, use the hillsides to actually move to the bridge and then move in. So now, UOL don't see them at all, but look at that spread. You can see them moving around. UOL about to control as much of this zone as absolutely possible. And a lot of teams are not in a good position to retaliate against that. Strangers, Volt going down to a very nice nade there from Narvalo. Silent but deadly, and that's going to be the confirm right there. So Narvalo still doing work for his team, even as a solo.
Yeah, I mean, Narvalo never going to be backing out of an altercation here. And, I mean, that's 1 down, 1 more to go, and that could mean the end for Strangers. But there's also a great opportunity for Narvalo to not only capitalize on the opportunities out on the edge, but also sneaking in from that southern side. But look at this. There's going to be the 4 Romanian men going toe-to-toe with REXPECT. And, the hits come through. The 4 Romanian men get the upper hand, but they're not out of the woods. Still 3 teams left to fight for this winner chicken dinner.
Oh my god, no! I thought he had that. But that has just given the win to UOL. Narvalo backstabbed 4RM completely and has ensured that UOL will win this game. GG's, good night. It is UOL taking home that chicken dinner on Sanhok. What a game from them. And that is 8 and 3, 11 eliminations going over to UOL, plus that 10 points. That's a 21-point game, DK.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, the Unicorns of Love really breaking out of the mold on Sanhok. But as we said, right, Sanhok definitely being a map that allows for a lot more aggression to come through. And I mean, the Unicorns, they grabbed it with everything in their arsenal. So really love that approach coming through for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really healthy with a strong dose of elims. But you also got to give it to the 4 Romanian men. I mean, they also did quite a bit of work. 8 eliminations and a second place finish.
Yeah, they did such a good job there because I think Painan is not an easy place to play from. You have to be on the ball at all times because the buildings there and the way it's all laid out is very, very helpful for teams coming in. So it's a tough place to be in. For RM, were there the entire game. They defended it against 4 or 5 teams coming in there at one point. So very, very well done for them, and they really did work very hard for that. And to be fair, they managed to get up from Painan to that hill and win against REXPECT. So, you know, it's all open ground there. So they did manage that. And of course, the clutch there against Narvalo as well. Very big GGs there. But yeah, it was really, really well done from them.
Well, I mean, speaking about it well done, of course, we also need to take a quick look and see how all of these points then tally over onto our total. as we have our teams, of course, still fighting for position on that leaderboard, but we've seen quite a bit of a change-up coming through. I mean, sure, the top 4 is unchanged, but Unicorns of Love jumping from 13th up to 5th in one match.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's such a great result for them. I mean, that's where we're at, right, in this tournament, or in these finals so far, is that teams are so close that anything happens. You get a good win, you're up to top 5, and it's done very well. Big Baby as well, though, I gotta say, they are tied right now. They had an excellent game as well, and they've been pretty, what's the word? It's escaping me. DK, what's the word?
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes,
consistent.
exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. I was about to say that, and you took the words right out of your own mouth.
It's telepathy. It's telepathy. You were wiring me that word. There we go. Yeah, they've been very consistent so far over the last 3 games, and you're seeing that consistency now reflected in the leaderboard. You're seeing that 25-25, so not far behind, and they're going to be one to watch coming into this Erangel.
Oh yes. I mean, the numbers are really starting to add up. And I mean, we're seeing some phenomenal plays coming through here. I mean, Big Baby.
Absolutely.
Already, we know they were sitting on 15 points coming into this match. So a good healthy dose of 10 points getting sent their way. But what we also have is everybody now has points, right? Every team has been able to secure themselves a few decent points along the way. And that is what we want to see at the end of the day, right? The team stepping up, claiming their points as they progress on forward, because this is a league. Every point, every opportunity to secure yourself a little bit of a score there does really go a long way.
Absolutely, yeah, it's really nice as well. From UC especially, I mean, I think they came into this game with 0 points on the board. To go from 0 points on the board to beating the #1 team, and #1 by a long shot, not only #1 on the leaderboard, but just #1 in terms of that momentum, that strength we've been seeing in the last 2 games. ULC just said, no, we're good, and you can go to lobby, not us. They really pulled an Uno reverse card and got those 5 elimination points. So yeah, very, very well done from ULC. I was impressed this game.
Yeah, well, speaking about Uno reverse cards, I almost said but Uno reverse cards, I mean, that's definitely a thing. I don't know what Uno is, but what I know is that we are going to be moving on and heading into a quick break. And of course, we'll be back with our final match of the day, game number 4. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys back in a short few moments. Enjoy the replays. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready for our final match. Match number 4 is just around the corner. We're about to see what the teams are going to be bringing in as they get ready for the final hustle, the final shuffle to figure out where they find themselves and, of course, what that leaderboard is going to be looking like. But I can definitely say, you know, the teams have been bringing in quite a few upsets already so far today.
They have. They're really interesting to see how they've actually all been performing against each other. It's been real pleasure to watch, though. It's such fun. They've been doing really good stuff. So I'm really excited to see how the teams are going to be closing tonight with this final game on Erangel. Had to double check there if we were going to Erangel. Yeah, it's looking a really good finale to one. I'm excited, DK. Let's get into it.
Yeah, well, we're about to hop on across to see exactly what the flight path is going to do. There's going to be a moment or two left on the clock. But, you know, while we wait, let's put the results up quick again, right? In case someone forgot, here they are. As we can see, of course, excuse me, still going to be holding on to that lead. Strangers definitely closing up the gap, looking for a slice of the pie. I mean, they want a bigger chunk, and, I mean, it's a delicious pie, so might as well go for it, right? And speaking about going for it, here we go. Moving over in towards the lovely Erangel, and of course, we don't have a horizontal flight path this time around. It's going to be starting over in Malta, heading up towards that northwestern side, almost stopping all the way over in towards Zaki. So it's going to be quite limiting, especially for those teams who prefer the south.
Yes, it is, and I think finally kind of seeing something where PUBG is going, you know, you've kind of had it easy when it comes to these plane paths, everybody. It's time, you know, we've had a few, it's time to go in with a little bit of a harder, you know, opportunity off the bat here. Just gonna level it up a little bit, get those motion. And what's interesting is a lot of these teams have decided to just run with it and go to that north side. There's a lot of teams moving up to the north there. Maybe some Kameshki as well as Lipovka, Yasnaya. But for the most part, they're going to own separate ways. 4RM deciding to go to Milta and get those vehicles, maybe get some loot there as well. DRM as well. They're going to be generally in Sosnovka, but they might decide to just farm and chill out for a bit.
Yep, I mean, there's nothing wrong with farming a little bit of chill time. I mean, it could be well deserved, but I'm curious to see how it's going to go this time around, especially now that we've got all that focus being put on Savoni as well as Yasnaya Poliana with the zone now centering up beautifully in towards that. And of course, we already hear the shots just going off in the background. Let's move in. Let's see what the young roster are going to be doing. They do find the first one. It is going to be Bot that will be ended right there. But now look at the shots continuing to rain all through as the exit team, well, backs them up.
Yeah, very quick as well. Very nicely done. Exit team on the ball with this one. Young roster's not going to go down without a fight, and they might have to be a bit more careful, though, because you do have game mode on that other side. They're going to be moving on in, and they look like they might want a few extra points if they can as well. Both these teams are going to have to be a little bit more careful, but, you know, young roster not looking like the most advantageous spot for them as a duo between two different teams. They're going to have to work very hard to get out of this one.
Yeah, and of course, also then the players here from No Mercy Warriors. Ooh, looking to pick up a bit of momentum as Tempest gets taken right on down. It's now down to Hisk and, of course, Smiley to keep the name going here. But it's going to be a tough run. I mean, they've already been able to knock down 2 of Excuse Me, but, you know, with Smiley rushing up with no armor.
Oh!
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, that was rough just a little bit. You could just hear the rifle just it goes through. Kashi, hello? Just gonna be jumping around out there. Gets the not a boss though. We have no time to mourn the loss of one team because we're going straight into another fight altogether. Very nicely done from Exit team, but Robs, Akashi, they're both down. Victor, the only one left up. This is on the way they wanted it at all, and it's all playing into the hand of Exit team.
Yeah, and I mean, now we get to see who's going to be the victor of Yasnaya Poliana. Is it going to be Game Lord, or will it be Exit team, who's just been knocking and breaking down doors all over the place? but they are coming through with a nice bit of a rush. Rob's just holding up top, but there we go. Slam dunk, and off it is. It is, of course, Miliniak, whatever that name. If I mispronounced it, I probably did. Oops.
Malinyak. Yeah.
That one. Not this one. This is Duchu.
Yes,
Yeah,
Duchu.
Yeah, Duchu. Duchu do that? Yeah. I didn't know you could, but either which way, well done, well played.
Yes, indeed. Very well played indeed. They handled that very, very well in that push. The timing of that push was exquisite. Very, very well, giving Game Lord any chance to move on up. And just coming through there, and 5 eliminations going their way. So a nice, good setup to the game so far, because we're only in stage 1. We've not done very much, and there's 2 teams out already. So big GG's there. Mnauko, they're gonna have to do something. PikaPik trying his best. Is easy coming in as well.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. And that was easy for sure. Looking at the angle being played here by PikaPik, but are they going to be able to pick up a few more? We don't know. Of course, sending out the utilities, trying to suppress the advances coming through there in the direction of Squizzy. This is now the opportunity. Down to 3-piece. They've got the angles. There we go. Blitz sends it in. It's going to be Galasha getting taken right on down. 2 now remains. And this is what we want to see, right? Mnauko stepping up, bringing in the heat. And of course, you're easy for sure. They are now in a world of trouble.
They are. They've just gotten pinned down. Very effective. Mnauko done a very good job of doing this, but those 1v1s still have to be won. It's the Vector, it's the Honey Badger. It could be very, very interesting going forward. But they're gonna, easy for sure, gonna have to do some work here. But need to see, here we go. Need to see that cover coming in from PikaPik's teammate, and we are seeing that. So just coming through there. Oh, that could be a very, very good angle. Oh my god, just stand still long enough, but I don't think they're gonna allow that to happen. They've all gone downstairs. And where are we going with this? Hey, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very, very interesting play. I mean, Blitz already taking quite a bit of damage. Ooh. Grenades now getting sent out. PikaPik just going to try and peek through the smoke. Not going to be allowing any plays to be made just yet. But Blitz in a world of trouble, right? This health bar not looking optimal. But look at that. PikaPik actually finds their hit. And no, down they go.
Wow. He's going down to that Bison. Galasha doing some very good work there indeed. GG's, easy for sure. Taking out a team that seemed to have them down as much as Mnauko did. So very well done to them. That's going to be a pretty nice thing coming up for them. And if I'm not mistaken, that's them all 4 up because they maintain a full squad in that meantime. But not so much for strangers, because they've gotten a bit third-party there by Exit. They were looking at one split, didn't see the other. REXPECT, though, and ULC. ULC, where have they been the first 2 games? Here they are against REXPECT this time.
Yeah, I mean, they get a good play on that one, indeed. It's checkmate down, but let's see whether or not Spyro and the rest of the team here from REXPECT are going to be allowing any of the continuations to come through here. I mean, it is a serious case of, you know, hidden vehicle coming through, but Marden actually could find good play. It's quite curious to see them not really striking at the opportunity, but instead Nexit is going to be taking a quick exit as they get taken right on down. And this is now ULC trying to pick up the last few pieces, and it's slowly starting to crumble.
It is. This is a very huge fight, I have to say. There's a lot of meandering going on, especially on Spyro's side, but he does get taken out for it. He is knocked, but he does have some cover. This is just a very strange fight. They kind of stopped in the middle of their fight. Oh, hang on. Ooh. Does get the one, but he's super duper low. Will he be able to get the second one? No. The switch out with that 12k, but here comes the cavalry. Will he be able to do it? No, because he's just running around. I am so confused by what's happening here with REXPECT. Both these teams doing some really odd things. They just kind of stopped fighting, got into their vehicles, ran around for a little bit, and then started fighting again. I'm not sure they should have really gone for this res. I know he wanted to heal up, but he shouldn't have had to heal up if he had just gone straight forward. Here we go. The reset has made, and it's a 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't frowned this much in a while, so
Mm.
that was definitely an
Yeah.
interesting play to make there. But it does seem like REXPECT
Yeah.
are going to be respecting the position and maybe looking to disengage. In the meanwhile, Zero Remorse now just looking to get themselves back into the swing of things. Of course, they've also stepped up, looking to make a little bit of noise. But they are going to have their hands full, as we can see. Even more players now from the side there of the Big Baby team looking to come knocking on their door. And I love this, right? A little bit of a hot and heated altercation going through. Utilities flying all over the place. Blue zone closing in. What more could you ask for as Aizen now breaks up the chaos?
Oh my goodness, that was very well done there. It's Aizen coming around that corner, just boom, boom, done, dusted, getting that shot. But now the rest of Big Baby, they're going to be wanting to do their own thing, as we have another fight going on as well with 4RM and DARUMA as well. DARUMA been struggling, having not had the best of days. Had a few points here and there, but we've been seeing them kind of struggle against some fights. So we'll see what they can do there, as well as Exit now making themselves known and Aizen making himself known, just getting rid of anything. But no, Exit actually saw that and took it as an invitation. Took it as like, yeah, sure, we can crash this compound. We can do this. Gone ahead and done that. Aizen now has to get back to his team ASAP, but gets those smokes out first to make sure that Big Baby don't see him either. But it's looking bad for Zero Remorse here. 2 are down. Does get the 1. Very nice.
Oh, the animation biting them in the butt. And now it's down to bot to see whether or not they can survive the final onslaught. But I love what Team Exit has been doing here. I mean, showing up also quite aggressively, trying to defend the compound as best they can. But now bot's starting to take even more damage. And Bambi, with a beautiful lean out, does close it up, and that is the end, at least now, for Exit team. But look at this, Spyro turning into Pyro as they get caught on fire. KASIK team dealing them dirty with a bit of utility.
GG's. I thought he just shut the door on the Molotov, but unfortunately it got in before he could close it. Big shame there. REXPECT going out a little early, but you know what? 11th place. If they had a few eliminations, not that bad. No, but you are seeing... Ooh, no, easy for short. Having not that easy of a time, it's now just the Boku to do something, but there's a lot of players everywhere, and they're not going to be able to do it. UOL just too strong in this instance, so down they go. Easy for sure, having an easy time back to the lobby with them, and it's me to be getting that loot.
Yeah, me. But either which way, I mean, I couldn't resist. I just, you know.
No.
You
had to.
You gotta do it sometimes. Why not? And I mean, looking at the zone, yes, we need to get all the jitters out, as it is gonna be a pretty sweaty center zone. We got the players here from Zero Remorse holding steady. We got KASIK moving in. We've got the Big Baby holding up on the ridge line, and of course ULC sneaking in from that eastern approach. So this is going to be a very, very tough one to defend. But also, if you look up north, right, it's going to be Unicorns of Love and the players there from Strangers BD. They get to see what they can get done. And, oh, the sprays now.
Yeah.
Zero Remorse. They looking to close it up.
They are indeed. I'm really worried. Zero Remorse here. This compound is about to be inundated with teams. We already see 3 there. You got Big Baby here. They got only a duo. You've also got KASIK have just decided. Hello?
Whoa. I mean, that's an ambush if I've ever seen one, right? So Andre becoming one with the bush, and now it is down to Ramon to see if they can maybe close this one out. But fortunately for Ramon, there's going to be a lot of players just hanging around in the vicinity. And of course now Inga sneaks it in with the buggy, finds the first, the second, on an absolute rampage.
Wow, what a great play from Inga there, moving along, just making himself known. And now look at KASIK. They have just completely gone through, run through. They're not on the edge of that compound anymore. And who's this? It is Excuse Me, as well as we've got another team coming in as Zero Remorse try their very hardest to maintain control. Great angle there onto Black, nearly getting him down entirely, but allowing Bandit to grab all the points they can possibly get. KASIK not looking so good, but still 3 strong in those buildings. They have a hold on this compound. Where is Black? He moved.
Wow. I mean, oh dear. Bambi now in a bit of trouble as they are getting encircled by not only Excuse Me, but also then still the players coming through from the side of KASIK. It is going to be quick now, rushing on forward, looking for a bit of an opportunity. KASIK now being pushed up into the attic, but this could be the exact opening they want. A little bit of a knock coming through. 1 down, 2 down.
Oh my god.
Now, so fast on that trigger and just absolutely laying into the side of KASIK.
And DK not losing 1 HP.
Yeah.
Full health bar. They didn't even get a shot on him. The DBS just too strong. And still here. He has just been chilling in this corner for a very long time. Excuse Me don't even know he's there. And all of a sudden, yeah, Excuse Me just rolled in, took control. They have this compound now. They don't know that. But wow, what a bunch of... What was that? UOL now on the outside. You can just see them on your screens now, moving in bit by bit. 4RM moved out a little bit to that other compound, but 4 teams out of the 6 are in this small space, so I think the fight is not over yet.
Oh no, it's definitely far from over. But of course, as we know, right, you need a little bit of prep, right? DARUMA, Devasto, getting ready for a bit of a showdown. In the meanwhile, speaking about the showdown, it's going to be Dennis looking to be the menace here as the shots connect through. Finds 0. That's 1 down. How many more unicorns are we going to see fall? None. That's the answer, as Dennis instead gets backed up and shipped out.
He does indeed, but Excuse Me are not going to wait for any teams to come to them. They're going to go to the teams. Look at this, Excuse Me now knowing where you are. URL, that's a different thing. UOL, they're going to be in that compound. They're just going to be doing a little bit of drive-by. They might try and take this fight just a little bit here. That's a very open compound, quite easy to take over. So we'll see what they have to say for themselves. But I do want to very quickly, Strangers, they're still up by Severny practically. They've just come in from the actual blue zone, and they still have quite a ways to get to zone. So of all the action here out of the 5 teams, we still have 1 outside of zone. Yeah,
I mean, we've got 5 teams still remaining, having to try and dig it out. Swave now coming under fire. I'm curious to see at what point someone's going to find the Devastor, whatever, however you pronounce that name, because, I mean, they're just having an absolute blast, as you can see there on the side. But in the meanwhile, it is going to be Excuse Me now, looking to just push a little bit further forward, moving in from that more centered approach, trying to bring in the reinforcements that Beck requires. As we know, it's a very tough play, but look at this beast now also just knocking on the door. Ooh, a little bit of a situation there with the car, but either which way, I mean, we've got that beast mode engaged. Black now having to try and retreat as the Unicorns of Love look to get onto a bit of a rampage here.
Yeah, you gotta love to see it, though. You know, they took that win in Sanhok and running with it. 7 eliminations. They've only lost 1, and that was very recently. They're hunting down these teams. Very, very well played. Love the aggression coming in from ULL. Strangers have decided, oh, look, here's a free compound. Not knowing just the carnage has been down in that facility there, though I think they'll see a lot of boxes. But I just want to bring to your attention as well, DK, it's only stage 3. I thought that zone looked a little large for 5 teams. No way.
It's time to dance.
DK, is this even possible?
It's time to dance, right? DARUMA, I'm sorry, I don't think Devastor is going to be able to dance for much longer. Oh, wait, I mean, Devastor is still dancing, don't get me wrong. You can see it, I can. Devastor is still dancing. But, yeah, Unicorns of Love now going to come rushing up into that zone. Meanwhile, it's going to be Ramon trying to, well, maybe get themselves out of this pressure cooker. I love what Strangers are doing
Yep.
here, trying to mount that too. Ooh, they actually run into the nade and down
Oh!
they go. What? I mean, that was a trick shot if I've ever seen one. Such an interesting approach coming through. But now Ramon having to defend. Oh,
No!
down they go. Batman
So close.
comes up and steals the show. But
GG's.
I mean, Devastator not dancing anymore, right? They've now
Nope.
realized that there's
hello.
quite a bit of trouble just lurking around the corner.
Peekaboo.
Oh,
Gets the one. Why are they pushing as a solo? What is happening?
it's a
Come on.
DBS. It's a don't be silly.
It is.
It's called a DBS
Yeah,
for a
it
reason.
is. Exactly.
Oh!
Oh, ouch.
Wow.
Ouchie walla.
Well, that's a
They are
that's
gonna
a
be able to
nice
get
how
that
do you
up.
do. That's a nice how do you do.
Yeah. No, that was well played. Well played from, well played indeed from the dancing man of the shack.
Yeah.
DARUMA 104. And top 4 position. 10 eliminations for Excuse Me, though. 10. They are back in business on Erangel. They mean to show us exactly who's boss on this map for sure. Strangers, after that win in Miramar, been very, very quiet indeed. But they do get those placement points. They're definitely playing for placement. Excuse Me, I think is just a solo, if I'm correct here. Yeah, just a solo. So unless he can really pull something out of the bag here, Black probably not going to win this. It is looking like UOL again have control of this zone. If they can just grab it, they look like they want to. They just don't know where to really set up just yet. If they can get right, they are on the path for a back-to-back here.
Oh yes, they definitely could. And I mean, as we know, they are no strangers when it comes to these challenges being thrown at them. But Strangers now opting into a solo vehicle there, a single vehicle to move on. Unicorns having some really good control of the northern territory, and it's going to be quite a bit of a challenging play to make. As you can see, Michi moving up, trying to get that vehicle situated, but also at the same time just clearing out the edge of zone. Of course, Michi all the way over on towards the western side as Beast and Swave now move further on towards the east, and this could actually be a 2-2 coming in here with Strangers, and well, you know, the other 2/3 of the Unicorns maybe finding a bit of an opposition, but they actually move up into Alamo.
They do indeed. It's actually a nice spot for Strangers, and UOL have no idea. Oh! That was, oh my god, UOL. My goodness me. Big GGs from UOL coming in there. I didn't see that car for a second. That jump scared me. Oh my goodness. I was just going to say, you know, it's a great little spot for Strangers, you know. It's nice, but nah, UOL, they got too much business to deal with to really, you know, entertain that thought for any more than a split second. And now Black is next on the list. There's Mishi. But Black's going to have to be very careful. He doesn't want to attract too much attention. But surely by now he knows he's at least top 3. Oh my goodness me. How did he miss that? Black just hitting the ground in time as here comes Beast. But he can't do something both here. He's got to pick one and pick it strategically. But no, Mish knows exactly where he is.
Oh, slam dunk.
UOL.
Beast.
UOL. Oh my goodness me. 0 with 0 eliminations. Fitting for the name. I was going to say, you know, step up, but now it fits his name, I appreciate the commitment to that. But wow, 12 eliminations going over to UOL, and I love the momentum coming in through from UOL. That was such a great game. They knew they had it in the bag, and they were just running around, just taking them out and knowing exactly where to go. So big GGs to UOL there.
Yeah, I mean, they had so much momentum, they had to try and get rid of some of that by utilizing the vehicles. I mean, I know of at least 2, maybe 3 eliminations for Beast that has been secured by a vehicle, right? And I mean...
Right.
I don't know if it's safe to say that the Unicorns of Love might have been rolling over the competition. You know, I don't want to play on the words too much, but, you know, I guess it works in this situation.
Yeah, I would say that. It does. It really does. Yeah, that's a great word for them. Excuse me doing a really good job there as well. But yeah, because well, let's be real here. 10 eliminations for Excuse Me. They've done an excellent job as well tonight. They've been very, very consistent. Just the Sanhok really not going well for them tonight so far. And Strangers as well. They've won on Miramar. They were quiet the other two games, but still a top 3 for them, looking very good. Nice to see DARUMA as well in that 4th place as well. So GG's.
Yeah, GG's indeed. And
GG's.
yeah, of course. Now speaking about GG's, we are currently only looking at 3 placements. The Big Baby and DARUMA doing their thing, getting a full bag of donuts. But as we know, there's nothing wrong with a bit of donuts. But of course, you know, will the donuts suffice when it comes to the standings? So without any further dilly-dally, let's take a look. Of course, it is going to be Excuse Me sitting up quite comfortably in pole position, 20 points ahead of the Unicorns. But the Unicorns, I mean, they've been out for blood, right? They started with 4 points all the way back in game number 2, and now they sit up on 46 points.
Wow, fantastic work from UOL. Honestly, they've done such a good job, and you can feel the switch up, right? That they were down in 13th. They had 4 points, like you said, and they're like, you know what? We don't want to do this. This is not how we want our night to go. And they just switched it up, and they got that win on Sanhok, and that was really, really helpful. They got that mentality. They went, hey, you know what? We can do this. Let's carry this momentum through to Erangel. We know how to play this. They kind of stayed out of the limelight for a little bit there. I mean, we had that massive drama over in that one compound, and UOL kind of stayed out of that. But they still got all the eliminations needed, and 20 points behind Excuse Me. It's not undoable. That's not even how that sentence goes, but we're running with it.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not, right? You might as well just go with it, see where it ends. But of course, I mean, some very, very satisfactory PUBG action coming through here. You got to give it up, right? UK and Ireland, I mean, they stepped it up, right? We had 8 invite teams come through. We got 8 qualifying teams come through, and they've just been keeping it so tight, so contentious, and just keeping a lot of action out on the battlefield. So a very, very satisfying bit of play coming through from our respective teams. But as we know, of course, Neb,
100%.
right? As the saying goes, all good things must come to a pause, at least for today, right? It's not the end, it's just a pause, as we are going to be continuing on with the action for our final day, which is going to be tomorrow. And of course, we'll have all the same teams stepping out onto the battlefield. So same time, same place, even more PUBG Mobile action going to be hitting your screen. So be sure to join us back again then. We look forward to see you all here. So until then, stay fresh, stay frosty, have a fantastic evening. But we can't do the exit just yet because I need to make sure that we've got some highlights to look at. So while I quickly do that part, this was planned, I promise. 100% planned.
Yep, totally.
There we go. All right, so on that one, we are going to be saying goodbye for now. So we'll see you all back again tomorrow. Stay fresh.
bye.